Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another Second Breakfast podcast. I'm Andy Roth alongside Phil Duvall. Say hi, Phil.
Hello.
Get away from the camera.
Uh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You're
I'm sorry.
scaring the children.
I'm.
Won't
There should not be any children watching our
This is a
podcast.
family podcast, and won't someone
It
think
is a
of the
family
children?
podcast. It's a family-friendly podcast in terms of language and content. In terms of we watch our filthy mouths and we
It's
don't
true.
talk about things. But I can't imagine a child being remotely interested in our show. I want to hear those two guys talk pompously about movies. Pompously. Big word, young man. Big word.
I love film navel gazing more than anything else I could be doing. La la la.
La la la.
Turn off Dora the Explorer and turn on those guys.
I feel like that's how I would have been as a child, though.
That explains ditto and explains so much. Yada yada yada. Here we are.
Yeah,
So
right.
today we are continuing a series that I think is going to become something pretty special here at Second Breakfast. The Indefensible Position. Last week, Phil got us started with the indefensible position that TV is better than movies. When we posted it on Facebook, a friend of ours, Andrew, responded by saying, in 2013, the indefensible position is that movies are better than television. Gauntlet thrown. And not like gauntlet like we sometimes do, but like tiny gauntlet. You know.
Challenge.
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 We have been slapped about the face.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge accepted, Andrew. Philip?
Last week, I argued that television is better than movies. This week, let me argue emphatically that today, unquestionably, no matter how good television gets, it will never be as good as movies. Movies have such a higher potential than television. That television at its best, when we talk about it being at its best, it's because it's cinematic. That really,
Well said.
realistically, what we love about great television shows is we say they're making little 1-hour movies.
That's right.
And every measure of success that we have for television is based on movies. I also think last week I talked about the idea. This is the thing that I think is the I have a lot to say about this. Shockingly, I have a lot to say about something.
Am I wearing my shock face?
No, you don't. You look not shocked. I'll come back to the nuances and all that crap in a minute, but I will say this. We talked a lot about the fact that at TV you watch and you see the same characters over and over and over again, and you get to know them.
Mm-hmm.
But what's funny is you can watch the same characters over and over again by watching the same movie over and over again, and you end up getting deeper into that one character. And so, for instance, I'll use three separate Jeff Bridges examples. Okay,
Please do.
For me, my favorite Jeff Bridges movie is Fearless, and his character in that. I've seen the movie over and over again, and in watching it over and over again, all of a sudden I get a different understanding. Yeah. He hasn't done any more work. It's the same 1.5 hour long or 2 hour movie.
Yeah.
And I'm delving deeper into the same character by seeing the same thing over and over again. So I actually get deeper into him that way. I would say that the life that the dude has taken on from The Big Lebowski in our culture and specifically our generation is based on repeated viewings and it becoming a part of the language.
Yes.
That lasts in a different way. It's like it takes longer, but then lasts longer. Maybe? I don't know. I have to think about that. And then I would say Rooster Cogburn in True Grit as well. I think is in my head in a very special way.
Sure.
So that's what I'm going to say for now. I have other things I'd like to say, but what are your thoughts on this, my friend?
Well, my first thought is sort of a procedural. I have a problem with the structure of this argument, and it's this: when people argue that television is better than movies. Here's what you hear a lot. Think about The Wire. Think about The Sopranos or Friday Night Lights or Breaking Bad. Let me give you the movie version of that argument. Movies are clearly better than television because Lawrence of Arabia, Citizen Kane, Singing in the Rain, The Godfather, and The Deer Hunter, right?
Yeah.
Like
Goodfellas.
Right.
Pulp Fiction.
You are For
Dog
every
Day
Breaking Bad,
Afternoon.
there are 7 flavors of House Hunters and House Hunters International. And I'm not saying that what I realize people are saying is not the totality of television is better than the totality of movies. I get that. But I think something that you said right when we started off is very interesting. How what we're talking about when we say that TV is great is it is the most like movies. It is the most cinematic. And what I think
Yeah.
we're seeing in television right now is the pinnacle of the art form, the pinnacle of the medium is approaching what movies have always done.
Right. Right. And
So
again,
it's
it's the compliment is it looks like a movie.
yes,
Whether they're
it's
shooting on
catching up.
film, they're using film structures. That is the point.
Hmm.
I just don't think and I think our culture, I mean, I think the golden age of cinema, I thought, one of our other listeners, is her name Heather or Nicole? I
Heather.
don't remember. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I've never met her, but she seems lovely because she says stuff that sounds smart. She was
Agreed.
talking about the fact that in the golden age, the quote unquote golden age of television, there aren't any amazing female leads. Now, I named a couple, and I actually argued that in fact there are phenomenal female leads right now in the golden age of television. They just happen to be in the 30-minute format.
Right.
You've got Zoe Deschanel in New Girl. You've got Mindy Kaling in the Mindy Project, which the Mindy Project is a wonderful show. Frankly, it's really good, and she is amazing on it.
Okay.
And you've got what's the other big? Oh, well, you just had Tina Fey on 30 Rock, and you have Amy Poehler on Parks and Rec, and you have and you had until recently Mary Louise Parker on Weeds, and you had Laura Linney on The Big C. You have and Edie Falco and Nurse Jackie. But they're all 30-minute shows. They don't have a woman who's carrying an hour-long show for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Just very interesting.
Yeah.
And this is a problem in film as well. But film, there are at least examples that you have of you have some really strong female characters and
Yes.
some really strong.
Agreed. I agree with that.
I think it's interesting that women are taking over the comedy genre though on TV right now, and that's a whole other topic.
Right.
Whole other topic.
I agree.
I think anyone who says that TV is better than movies is an idiot.
Well, I mean, are we done? Is that it? Is that all you want to say? You're an idiot. And scene.
I don't know how much time do we have left. I can say more. It's one of those points where we could stop now or we could really dig in because I have some other thoughts.
Well, I mean, I want to hear them. I think that, you know, you go. I want to collect my thoughts. If you have other thoughts that you can say, proceed.
I know I talk about this guy too much. I really do. I'm gonna make a Bob Dylan reference. I know. It's annoying, but I don't know how else to do this right now.
Sure.
Okay? Because I want to use a different format. And
Sure.
music is probably more important to me than movies. I think.
Okay.
It's really close, but I think it's music. It is. I don't know why I said it's close. If I had to choose between one or the other, I would choose music. Okay.
I still love you movies. Go ahead.
I love you movies. I love you. I'm sorry. Don't make me choose. Okay.
Not like I do. Go ahead.
Okay. Watch movies without music in them. You'll be bored. Okay.
I watched one tonight.
And you were horrified by life.
Not because of the lack of music, but continue.
So Bob Dylan came in and just wrecked my insides and changed everything about the way I understand a lot of things and actually restructured a lot of my favorite things about music and changed my understanding of music. I'm not saying that none of that's hyperbole. That's the funny thing is that's actually what happened.
Sure.
And I can trace so much of the music that I listen to now back to things that influenced him, things that he influenced, and things that he talks about in interviews and listens to and talks about on his radio show that he's gotten me into and changed the way I view music. And I love him as a performer, and he is the thing that I benchmark. Now, every once in a while, I'll see someone else, and I'll get really hooked on some other singer or some actor, and I'll be like, or some other singer or some other band, and I'll get hooked on it and be like, this is amazing, they're great, this is an awesome album, and I won't listen to any Dylan for a while, and then I'll put on Blood on the Tracks or Highway 61 Revisited, and I'll be like, oh, right.
Yeah.
This is what music is actually all about. And it doesn't, I don't actually mean that to lessen the other stuff. It's just that's how much of a, like, it ripped through my system and changed everything
Okay.
that Dylan was. Movies are to me like that, like in a way that, like, TV is fun and great, but these shows come and go.
Yeah.
The shows come and they go. Whereas, like, and again, because for instance, even my favorite shows of all time, there's so many episodes of them, I'm not going to watch them all the time. And
Right.
so they come and they go, and they have an effect on me, and they matter to me, and they matter to my life, and I remember them fondly. But I'm much more apt to go back and watch Fearless, with Jeff Bridges, than I am to watch, 3 seasons of Deadwood or 5 seasons of Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
And so because of that, like, it has this effect on me, like, it reminds me that even though I go through all these different TV shows and I love them, the movies are the things that have defined characters that mattered to me the most.
Interesting.
And I will say that for me, the only example I can say that's different than that, or the only TV show that is an outlier to that, is the character of Tony Soprano. That Tony Soprano I feel differently about, but he's the only one. He is an exception to the rule. He does not actually define it differently for me. He's just an exception. It's an exceptional. So that's does that make any sense, what I just said?
It does. It does. I want to go. Here's what I found all of that interesting and all of it valid and extremely useful. But what I want to jump off of is what you said. Like, the TV shows come and go, and I want to say something that sort of bridges the gap, because I'm all about the love, right? And you know what? I don't want to choose, and I know you don't either. I don't want to choose between movies and TV. I will say this: the thing.
Choose.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
The thing that has brought TV, and you know what? I'm going to toot my own horn here. I don't know if I said it to you, but I'm pretty sure that if I didn't say it to you, I said it to our friend Jeremy in college when DVD was just sort of coming out as like a viable storage medium, right? I said something ridiculous to the effect of, DVDs, what's the point? And he's like, easier to store, better sound and picture, exactly the way that the director intended it. Why wouldn't you? And I was like, that's a really good point. And then I started accumulating DVDs, and I started thinking about them more, and then I saw, and I forget what it was, but I saw a TV season on DVD. And I said, this is where DVDs are really going to change something. This is where they're going to make their mark. Because even back then, I was an archivist. I had hundreds of VHS tapes. My dad had been recording them off of television, and we were buying things as well. But we didn't have any television shows. Everything you just said about, like, you're not going to go back and watch, all of The Sopranos as often as you're going to watch one movie, that's true. Right. But in much the same way that before VHS, people just didn't rewatch movies, people really didn't have the opportunity to rewatch TV at all.
Right, unless it was reruns, and you were completely at the mercy of the networks.
That's right. And so back in college, I was like, this is TV shows on DVD. That is what's going, that's where, even if it's only me, this is what's going to change television for me. And it really did. And I think, honestly, whatever gap there was that may have narrowed between movies and TV, I think DVDs and Blu-rays take a lot of the credit for that. Because you can, to whatever extent you want to, revisit. So the affection that we have for television characters, and obviously, I mean, from the earliest days of television, I mean, predating I Love Lucy, you've got Uncle Milty. I mean, people have loved television characters and television personalities, but not the same way, as you said. It's not the same thing as the way people love movies and the way people love movie characters. And for many people, even if it's not to the same degree, or even if it's more than they love movie characters, the kind of love is now the same kind of love. Does that make sense?
It does. And I think, again, I think it's partially because of what you just said, and I think it's partially because of the way that TV has gone to be more like working. A lot of TV has gone to be more cinematic.
I agree. That's absolutely true. I wonder, and I'm having trouble articulating it, but I think it'd be interesting to sort of research. Not that I'm going to research, but I
For
wonder.
someone else.
You're right. Sec wreckers out there, you do this and you get back to us. What I find interesting is I wonder if, and if so, how much, just the fact that you can archive these things has changed the way people make television. Like
Well, it's
because
funny
now
that you said
because
that you didn't put TV shows on video cassette because I had dozens of
we
Simpsons
did, but it's a
cassettes.
different thing. We did, and I did have TV shows on VHS.
I would watch Simpsons. I would watch Simpsons on video cassette until the video cassette got wonky.
That's true. That's true, but did you buy them or did you record them off of TV?
Recorded them all.
And that
Right.
that proves your bona fides as a fan, but in terms of like changing the because at the end of the day, this is all about how we are marketed to. It's not all about it, but it affects it more than I think we might like to admit, right? So when people because otherwise, why would they, and it doesn't happen often, but it does happen, why do they put out seasons and entire series of TV shows on DVD when not all of the episodes aired on television?
Mm.
You know? Like, and it's because we're being marketed to. There was a show, it's not one of my favorite of all time, but it's sort of one of my favorite of all time that nobody knows about. There's this show called Wonder Falls, and I don't want to get into it, but it was 13 episodes. I was actually looking at the back of the DVD right now. 4 episodes aired. 4 of them. And on the back of the DVD, it was like, includes all 13 episodes, including 9 that never aired on television. And I was like,
9?
You're right. Yes.
Yeah.
So, to say nothing of something like Firefly, which was aired out of order, and I don't think they aired all of the episodes and things like that. And I think that's something that's obviously it wasn't impossible before DVD. They could have done it on VHS, but nobody did.
Right.
And if you got multiple episodes, it was like a best of Magnum PI stuff. It wasn't Magnum PI season 4.
Mm.
And I think and because like you get something in your hands.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What does this have to do with movies being better than TV?
I think that I bring this up as a way in which television is still, how to put this? It's the little brother, right? It's like it's trying to get there, where movies have been there all along.
Okay. And now I'm with you 100%. Now I'm with you. Now can I say 2 things?
Please do.
1, I would be remiss, and this is a semi-controversial statement for some people. I don't really care.
I will love it because you used the word remiss. Continue.
I would be remiss in my conversation if I listed how females are so important to the golden age of television when it comes only to 30-minute shows, if I somehow didn't mention Lena Dunham in Girls.
Fair.
That show has a lot of backlash. There's a lot of people who have issues with it. I think she's brilliant. Okay. I think the show is brilliant. I think she is I think she's doing something really special. I would even say that even if you don't like it, she's doing something really special.
Fair.
That there's something going on there that is that even if it's something that you can't get into, I think to mock it is a little petty and short-sighted, because I think what she's doing is pretty amazing. And there's the I like it or don't like it conversation is a different conversation than objectively what's happening on that show and what she's capable of.
Agreed.
So she needs to be talked about. She needs to be brought up in the conversation of the quote-unquote golden age of television.
Sure.
The other thing I wanted to say is, and I think this is my way of agreeing with you without just saying I agree with you. That would be a lot easier. But I'm not going to do that.
Why be easy? Go.
You know what I like about football? What I like about football is that it's got plays, and everything's quiet, and then for a moment, 22 people are moving around, and then there's hitting and banging, and then it's and 22 people are moving, and then you, in the midst of that, you kind of see something happening, and then you realize what's going on, and then it ends, and there's a time, there's a clock. And when
Yep.
that clock runs down, no matter what, when that clock runs down, the game is over.
Yes.
And you know how long the game is going to be by and large because that's the game, and
Yep.
it's just like that, and it's fast, and it's exciting, and there's action, and it goes like that. Like that's what I like.
Agreed.
Okay. Do you know what I like about baseball?
That there's no clock.
There's no clock in baseball.
Yeah.
I like that it's quiet. I like that by and large only one or two people are moving at any given time.
Yeah.
I like the fact that you can get up and walk out and go to the bathroom during parts of it. That you can even zone out. I like that you can listen to baseball and not watch it.
Yep.
I like that it's slow
Yeah.
and then fast randomly.
Right.
I find it interesting that people will say, I don't like baseball, and then describe why they look like football. As if somehow the two are totally, like, to like one means to not like the other. And so to me, like, what I like about baseball is all the things that makes it not football. But what I like about football is all the things that makes it not baseball. I like both of them. I like the fact that I like them for different reasons.
Yeah.
They're similar, in the same way that TV and movies are similar, and I do have a preference, which of course is baseball. But I agree with you that to say like, oh, movies are better, it's like I still love what television does, and they're related. And as you said, movies are clearly, or TV is clearly, movies' little brother. But it's nevertheless it's still a very special thing that does really cool stuff.
Agreed.
So it does a very different thing, and I think movies are better probably just because I grew up on them in a very particular way, and I dreamed about being in them, and I thought about and I think they're really powerful. I think the same story over and over and over again is sometimes more powerful than different stories with the same character.
Agreed. I agree.
Right? I mean, it's like the story of Cain and Abel is like 6 sentences long.
Yeah.
And it's lasted for 5,000 years.
Yeah.
And when I talk about Cain and Abel, it means so much to so many different people, like so many billions of people.
Yes.
And that's amazing. And there's no sequel to Cain and Abel. Cain doesn't come up later on in the story. There's like 5 or 6, maybe a dozen sentences, and then it's over.
Right, but sequels aren't a place where movies can really edge, like a lack of sequels, movies can really edge ahead of television there.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's true.
But agreed. And
so,
and I think what you just said is sort of the Bible verse version of what we talked about last week, short stories versus novels. Right? It's not an entire book.
But I would even almost say it's not short stories versus novels. It's actually novels versus series of books.
Fair.
Like that's the point. Is it's not even like, I mean, I think a TV show could be constructed after a novel. I think you could take a big novel and stretch it out. I mean, that's
what Game of Thrones is doing.
This is what Game of Thrones is doing, basically.
Yes. That's what CBS is doing with Under the Dome. The Stephen King, they're doing a 13-part miniseries airing this summer.
I think that is, I mean, I don't know if it'll be good, but I think it's a brilliant idea. Yes. And I would love for it to work.
Me too.
I think that could really change the way the books transition to the screen, so to speak.
Yes. I really wish it weren't being done on network television because I really liked the book. But and there's just a whole host of things they cannot show on CBS.
But c'est la vie, am I right?
Indeed. Honey, let's just keep it on the same channel after 2.5 Men. I hear they're showing a new show tonight. Oh my goodness! I mean,
it's all right, Rose.
Nice. That's very well said. I think we have sufficiently debunked in successive weeks why movies are better than TV and why TV is better than movies.
Just when you thought we were going to zig, we zagged, America.
Yeah. And then we zigged in the middle of zagging. Just to keep you on your toes there.
I know you think that it's we'd like you to think that it's us being crafty. We're idiots.
We're idiots. And we do so much planning, and then it just no, we do no planning at all. Zero planning.
The 20-minute phone conversation we had earlier today when I was like, what are we talking about this week? Everybody's view of us exploded just then. What? Are
Yeah,
you telling me
just
months
then.
of planning didn't go into this week?
Just then they realized that we do absolutely no planning. So,
Tomorrow, tomorrow is one of the holiest days in the Christian calendar, Ash Wednesday, and we're gonna mark it by watching Batman and Robin.
yes, yes, a little bit different schedule this week. Project Melway, the wonder that is Tequila Sunrise, will be coming to you on Thursday. But on Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen, it will still be nice to see you.
We have a very special cross promotional item on tomorrow. We'll talk about it on tomorrow's podcast. We're very excited about this. And Ash Wednesday is traditionally a day of penitence and fasting and sort of. I don't want to say self punishment because that's not the point, but that might be the point for us because we're going to watch Batman and Robin
Yes.
and talk about it.
Quick prop bet. Over under for me saying ice to see you during the podcast. We're setting it at 10. We're setting it at
Yeah.
10. Yeah. And that's if the podcast goes an hour and a half or 3.5 minutes.
Is that just you saying it or both of us saying it?
Just me?
I still might take the over.
I would. Smart money has the over.
Right
Are
on.
we done? Are we done for the day?
I think we're done for the day.
Awesome. Guys, thanks for joining us on another Second Breakfast podcast. Let us know what you think. Andrew, I'd love to hear your thoughts on our response to your comment. And everyone else, I'd love to hear what you think. TVs, movies, which way you're going. Again, we'll see you tomorrow with a special Batman and Robin retrospective. I'm Andy Roth. That's Phil Duvall. We'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.